I felt bad listening and watching that yesterday. An emotional and clearly, as he put it, heartbroken Ryan Fitzpatrick after being benched for Tua down there in Miami. Brandon, what was your reaction to hearing Fitzy say this yesterday?
Yeah, remember yesterday, I said it. If I know Fitz, I haven't talked to him, but if I know him, he's sad. He's the ultimate competitor. He loves playing the game. That's why he's still doing it. Fitz has all the money in the world. Fitz has done it. He's been on so many teams. He's moved his entire Brady Bunch family from city to city. He could easily shut it down. He loves to compete. So all this stuff that I was hearing yesterday, oh, Fitz is the ultimate pro. Fitz is going to cheer on Tua. Fitz is going to be great. Yeah, he will do that after he soaks all this in and understands what's happening. So sad day for me. Big Ryan Fitzpatrick fan, my all-time favorite quarterback that I played with. But I love this guy, and I know he'll do well helping out Tua, but it just sucks that he's in this position because if I'm Ryan, I'm looking at it like, you know what? They just expanded the playoffs. We're sitting here right at 3-3. Could we potentially sneak our way in the playoffs, and could it be magical? So sad day, sad day.
Yeah. All right, Coach Mangini back with us now. We're going to take a big turn and talk some Antonio Brown. The often troubled wide receiver's 8-week suspension is close to ending. And a report yesterday said that the Seahawks are one of a group of teams that are pushing to sign AB now that he'll be eligible to return in Week 9. Look, we've heard these rumors before about a potential AB to Seattle move. Nice catch right there. Coach, you see this working out this time? Didn't work with the Raiders, didn't work with the Patriots. And would AB be a good fit on the Seahawks?
He really has a great opportunity to go and revive his career in Seattle. I think Pete has always been outstanding with dealing with a lot of different personalities. And one of the nice things about going to a successful team and a successful organization where you're not the guy is it's liberating. And I remember in New England when we brought Corey Dillon in and all the things that people had said about Corey, and in talking to Corey one day going out to practice, him saying how refreshing it was not to have to be out in front, not to have to be the guy. And it just gave him a chance to play and to showcase all the talents that he's always had that sometimes got overshadowed by other things. And Seattle gives Antonio Brown that opportunity. Now, that being said, Antonio's got to hold up his end of the bargain as well. Seattle's winning. They've got good chemistry. They've got a great thing going. You can't go in there and be disruptive. You can't go in there and be selfish. You have to go in and be willing to play a role and to contribute in whatever way they ask you to. And then that gives you the best chance next year to go capitalize on free agency and really start new. You know, I actually like Antonio Brown in Kansas City. I think that would be a great fit as well.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, so Coach, you kind of walked me right to where I was going to go, which wasn't the Chiefs, but it says on the bottom of the screen, would Antonio Brown be a good fit with the Seahawks? And much like our Julio Jones discussion yesterday, Brandon, remove Seahawks and put in almost any team in the league that's got a good quarterback going to the playoffs. And it's like, yeah, he'd be a good fit. How would Antonio Brown right now fit in Baltimore? Oh, it would make them wildly dangerous. What about Green Bay opposite Devontae Adams? Oh, my God, it would terrify the rest of the NFC. Coach mentioned the Chiefs. So would he fit with the Seahawks? Of course he'd fit with the Seahawks. And I think potentially, Brandon, whomever signs him is getting the best version of him behavior-wise because he knows this is his last chance. And unlike Oakland, which gave up draft picks and a bucket of money to get him, so when they had to cut him, it hurt them greatly, or New England, who gave up no draft picks but a decent amount of money to get him, so when they had to cut him, it hurt their cap. Whomever he signs with next, it's all reward, no risk. He's going to sign for almost no money. I'm sure there will be almost no guarantees, and it's no draft picks. So if it doesn't work, you just move on. So I think he's a good fit with a lot of teams, but you can speak to why he might be a particularly good fit culture-wise in Seattle.
Yeah, I was there. That was one of my last stops, and one of the things that I realized that it was a good fit not only for me but for so many other big personalities coming in there because of two people, Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll has set the tempo there of what he wants and the type of culture. It's unbelievable that he is counter culture to almost everyone in the NFL. He actually wants you to be yourself. If you're not yourself, he'll walk up to you and say, "This is not why I brought you here." When you walk into that meeting room, there's music, there's freaking noise everywhere. It's almost uncomfortable for a guy coming in that's never seen anything like that because it's so counterculture to what happens in the NFL. Pete Carroll sets the boundary, says, look, just don't hurt the team. But if you want to tweet, if you want to YouTube, if you want to Instagram, do that. He may come out in the middle of practice. Well, I know what will happen. You'll come in the meeting room. He's going to have your tweet or your post in front of the entire team, and everybody's going to be laughing about it and dissecting it. So I really like this. I will say that the bigger question is not about is it a good fit, but is Antonio Brown willing to change? And I'm a guy sitting here today that the first part of my career, I was part of the problem in the locker room and when we weren't winning. But then the second half of my career, I was a part of the solution. So I've seen it. I felt it myself where guys are capable of change because I wanted to. That's the key. Is like, are you willing to change? Are you capable of change? And I think he is. And for that reason, I think that this will be a great fit for him. Russell Wilson will be a phenomenal teammate.
Okay. Well, I'm rooting for that he changes his ways, Brandon, because I don't think all of his tweets were going to be up. His previous tweets would be up on the board. But, Coach, if you're on Seattle and you're like, wow, more attention to the offense. We also got Josh Gordon waiting in the wings. Seattle's offense, there's nothing wrong with it. The thing is a speeding car that's just getting more souped up. Do you feel like it should be any emphasis on their porous defense that's allowing, and this is not a misprint, for one reason, because I'm right, the second reason that's audio and misprint is on print, 471 yards per game worse than the NFL?
Look, it would be nice to be able to go get a player of Antonio Brown's caliber on defense, but that guy's not out there, and you just got to deal with the opportunities that are available, and it may just come to an arms race with Seattle where who can score more, and that's really where it's been. Just going back to Nick's point about there being no risk with bringing him in, I don't think that's necessarily true. There is a risk in the sense that if he becomes a distraction, and I know Nick doesn't believe in distractions, but if he comes in and you've got a great chemistry and he disrupts that chemistry, even if it's just internally, then that's the risk to me. It's not, is he a good player? We know he's a good player. The risk is more when you add a player like him to the mix, what does that do to the rest of the group that's really doing a lot of good things?
Yeah. Coach, and it's not that I don't believe in distractions. I think in large part distractions are often overblown. And so let me rephrase it just slightly. I don't want to say there's no risk whatsoever, because there is a possibility DK Metcalf, who's on his way to being one of the very best receivers in football, takes this the wrong way. And it disrupts things. Like, that is a possibility. My point is, from a team-building perspective, the Raiders took a massive risk and lost. From a team-building perspective, the Patriots took a slight risk via cap dollars and lost. The Seahawks would be taking no risk as far as money or draft picks. That would be risk-free. The chemistry stuff, Brandon, you can speak to. I think there is some risk, but we saw the Patriots cut him and just keep chugging along last year on their way to 11 wins.
And that's why I use the word counterculture, Coach, because this locker room is just set up so differently. Every locker room I've been in, 100%, there's going to be a big question mark. Guys are going to have their eyes open and watching his every move. But this culture in this locker room, they embrace and they lean into the dysfunction. Coach Carroll, every single Monday, give the guys an opportunity. Come up here, speak your piece. I was sitting there, Doug Baldwin, you think he's easy to deal with? Percy Harvin, you think he was easy to deal with? Richard Sherman. Coach Carroll does a phenomenal job of dealing with characters and guys with big Michael Bennett. Like, think about the characters that he's had on his team. And every single day, Coach Carroll comes in and he just takes it in stride, and he takes it one day at a time, and he actually creates an environment where guys can be themselves, but he also talks about it. Now, if you cross the line, and this is why I love Coach Carroll, you get cut right then. But everyone internally knows, like, yeah, you can be yourself, but they also know if you cross that line, Coach Carroll and Snyder's going to cut you.
Look, we're giving Antonio Brown a big benefit of the doubt, assuming that he is what you call a changed person, and he's going to go into a new organization and suddenly be unlike the guy that we saw in the last two organizations he played for. But let's just play this out. Nick, say Seattle does land Antonio Brown. And it works, and the chemistry works. You got an explosive offense there in Seattle. And then you look at that explosive offense on the team you root for, and I just wonder, who has the bigger offense at that point? Which offense do you like better, Seattle or Kansas City? I have to paint you in that corner. That's what
it's a fair question. I get it. You want to hold any team that could be great to the greatest, and I get it. They're the standard bearer of the NFL, and I assume will be for the next decade or so. I think, Coach, that Bills game was really interesting because the Bills went into that game against the Chiefs, and they said, our goal, our way to beat you, our best chance to beat you, is let's turn your running attack into Derrick Henry and the Tennessee Titans because we're so terrified of your passing attack. That wasn't an accident. That's what they planned to do all week leading up to the game. And as great as Russ is, and right now he's the MVP of the league, there's one quarterback in the league better than him, and that is Patrick Mahomes. Tyreek Hill is better than DK Metcalf. Kelsey's better than Olsen.
No, he's not.
So for all those reasons, Kelsey's wait, who's not? Who's not?
DK Metcalf is the best receiver in football right now. No way. I love DK. That's a whole nother segment, Jenna.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.